Before the crosses rose, before the temples burned, before the gods were renamed and the goddesses erased, there was a world of balance, sacred, elemental, divine. They told us it was lost. They told us it was evil, but they lied. This is the story of what was taken and the voices rising to reclaim it. This is the fall of paganism. The Sacred Six: Geometry, Harmony, and Divine Union. Let's strip away the fear and take it all the way back, because the number 6 has been sacred since before the first cathedral church was ever built. In sacred geometry, 6 is the number of structure, harmony, and universal balance. The hexagon is nature's favorite blueprint. It's the shape of honeycombs, crystals, snowflakes, and even the storm on Saturn's North Pole. It's efficient, powerful, and mathematically perfect. When you stack 6 around a center, you get the hexagram. The star of 6 points, that symbol appears across the ancient world in Hinduism. It's the Shatkana, where the upward triangle of Shiva unites with the downward triangle of Shakti. Its Judaism became the Star of David, a shield of spiritual protection. In alchemy, it was represented as fire and water, the merging of the divine and masculine and feminine. In pagan rituals, the 6-pointed star was used to invoke a balance, cycles of time, harmony with the elements. It's a portal, a mirror, a sacred seal. So what happens when you triple that power? When you take the energy of 6 and amplify it into 666, you don't get a demon, you get a cosmic code: love, structure, beauty, harmony, and transformation. That number was never evil. It was holy. It was ours. Church, the fear and the fall of pagan truth. But when the church rose to power, it didn't rise through love. It rose through fear and domination. And to gain control, it had to dismantle the systems that came before it. It had to sever our connection to nature, to ritual, to the divine feminine, to the sacred symbols that once empowered us. And here's something that most people never hear in Sunday school. The Old Testament was written roughly between 1200 BCE and 165 BCE, with books like Kings and 2 Chronicles, documenting sacred wisdom and royal wealth long before Jesus was even born. The New Testament wasn't written until 50 CE to 110 CE, a full century after many of the original events were said to have occurred. And over time, those texts were revised, translated, politicized, and edited. There's proof, written proof in historical, theological scholarship that verses were altered and added to serve religious and imperial agendas. The sacred became strategic. The mystical became manipulated. That's where 666 became a target. The early Roman Church needed a scapegoat, and they found it in Revelation. A cryptic, politically driven vision, weaponized and edited through centuries. But the real shift came after the Council of Nicaea in 325 AD, when the empire aligned with the church. They began to codify what was holy and what was hearsay. Symbols like the hexagram was once used for divine protection and union. Now were branded occult, a word they turned dark, even though it simply means hidden. The number 666 once embodiment of sacred feminine power and natural cycles. This was twisted into a mark of evil. Why? Because it was powerful. Because it was pagan. Because it was ours. They turned Aphrodite's day of worship into something forbidden. They replaced Inanna's descent and resurrection cycle with a male martyr's passion. They banned the temples, burned the scrolls, and rewrote the math. But that truth? No. It didn't die, it went underground, and now it's rising again through us. The code keepers, the rememberers, the witches, the wild ones. 666 was never the end. It was the key. This is a part of my ongoing series, The Fall of Paganism, where we peel back the burned pages of history, decode the twisted truths, and resurrect the wisdom they tried to erase. We're here to remember what was stolen, reclaim what was sacred, and rise with the power of our ancestors at our back. If this lit a fire in your soul, share it. Drop your truth in the comments and stay tuned. I'm not just telling history. I'm undoing the lie. This is the reawakening of the old ways, and we're just getting started.